What's that old saying? When it rains, it pours. Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chad Sports. My name is Moose, and I'm not going to lie to you. This episode does not contain any good news. Believe it or not, when I was scripting this original episode, I had originally done so in hopes to kind of pick apart the Falcons' red zone woes, which, trust me, we're going to get to later on in this episode. But then another flurry of bad news came in surrounding some injury news, and look, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not good. Let's start with the quarterback. Michael Penix Jr. is now considered day-to-day with a bone bruise suffered late in the fourth quarter against the San Francisco 49ers on a hit to his, it's like right around his knee area, slightly below his knee, but you saw him hobbling around late on that last drive, and it clearly affected his mobility and his ability to plant his foot and drive the football forward. Now, here's the good news about Michael Penix Jr. It's day-to-day, which means he's most likely, now I'm not going to say he's going to, but he is most likely going to end up playing this next week against the Miami Dolphins. However, we'll talk about here in just a little bit why this is also still bad news, considering even if he does play, there will be some limitations. Divine Deablo has a forearm fracture. That's probably the worst of all of this news. It's week to week. He's going to miss some time, according to head coach Raheem Morris. And then he was also asked about Storm Norton and that kind of backup option to Divine Deablo, which would have been Troy Anderson. And he said, we're close, but there's still no updates. So we're going to break this all down, what this means from a Michael Penix Jr. perspective, from a Divine Deablo perspective, and then we'll talk about the Falcons as a whole. But I do want to say thank you to all of the fans that came and joined us for our watch party against the San Francisco 49ers. We gained 288 new subs against the 49ers on that watch party. We're currently at 43,283. We need 717 more to hit our next milestone of 44,000. So do me a favor and hit that sub button. Let's start with Michael Penix Jr. again, like I said, as I pull up my pants here. Falcons head coach Raheem Morris clarified that Michael Penix Jr. has a bone bruise. So that's the good news. There's no structural damage to his ankle or his foot. However, the bad news comes in by saying there is definitely some limitations. That means with his mobility. He should play against the Miami Dolphins. Day-to-day usually means that they're going to take it light at practice. They're going to keep him off that foot, a little bit of extra ice, a little bit of extra elevation, a little bit more limited snaps, but his mobility should be affected based off of a pain tolerance. I've had multiple bone bruises in my athletic career, as athletic as I look, and I'm going to tell you, it's not necessarily a structural damage thing. It's more of a pain tolerance thing. So roaming around, moving up, sliding throughout the pocket, getting outside on a play action, that's going to be more limited. There's no doubt about it. Now let's go over to Divine Deablo. This one hurts. This hurts. He's got that fracture in his forearm after the helmet-to-forearm collision in the game. And Raheem said, we hope to get him back this season, but he's going to miss some time. This is going to sting. No pun intended. If I had to put my guess on things, Divine Deablo is going to miss 3 to 4 weeks. That's my guess, maybe 5. When you say that you hope to get him back this season, you're not anticipating him back anytime soon. And unfortunately, the Falcons already had their bye, so you're going to be missing some games. And that is unfortunate because Divine Deablo was, if not your best, your second best defender on this defense throughout the season so far. And it's not close. Xavier Watts is the only other player that you could argue is playing better, but Divine Deablo, in my opinion, would have gotten my defensive MVP through the first 6 games. There's no doubt. 23 tackles, 1 for loss, half a sack, coverage grade of 78.6, and a PFF grade of 86. He's been exceptional. Exceptional. And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that it took the right amount of coaching to get Divine Deablo in the spot that he should have been in, you're fooling yourself, because when he played for the Raiders, he was consistently known as a mid linebacker, like somebody that was not going to make or break the game. However, this is now a characteristic player. I'm going to rephrase this. It is not characteristic for him to be mid anymore. He's been exceptional in Jeff Ulbricht's defense. There's no doubt about it. So, How badly does this hurt the Falcons defense? Scale of 1 to 10. Considering we've already got the problems stopping the run, this is going to be like an 8 or a 9 for me, for sure. Divine Deablo was playing at an exceptional rate, but you let me know in the comment section down below. Now, before I get on with the red zone woes and why this bad news goes from bad to worse, I'm going to tell you about our friends over at Factor. Listen, the fall is here, and let me tell you, my friends, Factor, they've got some good stuff cooking up. It always feels like a reset between back to school, busier routes, and shorter days. So finding time to cook can be tough, and that's why I personally love Factor meals. They've got chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals that make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. You can now support your wellness goals and enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good for you fats. You can also savor global flavors and for the first time try Asian inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. For more choices to better nutrition, 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier lifestyle. Feel the difference, no matter your routine. Eat smart at factormeals.com/FalconsChat50off and use code FalconsChat50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code FalconsChat50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Shout out to Will McFadden for bringing this up here. You've got some really unfortunate statistics to look at in this tweet. So, for the Falcons offense, just as an indicator at how bad the scoring is, time of possession, you're 4th in the NFL. That's great. Sacks allowed per pass, you're 6th. That's great. Yards per game, you're 7th. That's great. Third down efficiency, 9th. First downs per game, 11th. All of these are exceptional statistics. And then you get to that last one. Points per game, 28th. Translation, the Falcons cannot get it done right now in the red zone, period. And look, yesterday, I wasn't as harsh on Zach Robinson, but after doing the research, after going back and watching the film, after going back and seeing the problems, this is a coaching issue. It's not a player personnel issue. You're going to hear from one Falcons player about what he believes of their team, and I can prove to you that it is definitely a coaching mistake. Period. So, let's talk about it. The Falcons have the worst red zone scoring percentage on the road in the NFL. So like we just talked about, their scoring points per game is 28th. This is also number 32 in the NFL, meaning the amount of times that they get into opposing red zones on the road, they only score a touchdown 28.5% of the time in 2025. That is absurdly bad. Absurdly bad. And Jake Matthews talked about how he views this Falcons team, and it's not a shot at the coaching staff, but it's not a shot. Take a listen. We just didn't execute, talking about this game against the 49ers. We've got all of the pieces and the confidence. Note that right there. We've got the pieces, the personnel, and the confidence. We just have to go out there and get it done like we did last week and consistently do that. Then we'll be the team we know we can be. So let me just put that in perspective for you. You've got your left tackle saying, we've got the pieces, we've got the personnel and the confidence. We have to go out there and execute. So do you think Jake Matthews is saying, hey, we stink? No, he's not. This is a coaching problem, highlighted by a lack of proper execution and good situational football from Michael Penix Jr. and Zach Robinson. The Falcons' passing touchdown percentage in the red zone is second to last. The only team that's worse than you is the Giants. So you're really bad on the road in the red zone. You're really bad at passing yards and passing percentage and passing efficiency in the red zone. What do you do well when you get in the red zone? Run the football. You've got Bijan. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Moose, what was this like back in 2024 when you had Kirk at the helm? 10% better. Your red zone percentage, your red zone efficiency in 2024 was 54.7%. It is 44.4% right now in total. So this is on the road, at home. Every time you get in the red zone, the Falcons are scoring a touchdown 44.4% of the time right now under Michael Penix and 54.7% of the time with Kirk Cousins. Now, that doesn't mean I'm calling for Michael Penix Jr.'s job. Don't get it twisted. What I am saying, though, is you cannot continue to make boneheaded mistakes like the one that Zach Robinson made taking Bijan off the field. Highlighted again by this hilarious meme. I know there's a lot of people that really like this meme, so I'm bringing it back. We go for it on 4th down, and it's 4th and 1. We take Bijan out of the game. Not to do a really horrible Gru impression, but you get my point. And then again, every single person watching that football game last night, as a fan, as a commentator, as someone who studies football, they all said the same thing. Why are you taking Bijan out of the game? Regardless if you have him lined up as a running back, you could have him lined up in the slot, but you took him off the field. It's just bad. It's bad coaching. It's bad from Zach Robinson, but ultimately, who hired Zach Robinson? Raheem. So I will continue to say it. I'm not calling for both of their jobs at this very moment. I thought there have been good things that we've seen through the first 6 games. There have been awful things that we have seen. But you guys actually kind of called it right. I'll give you credit where credit is due. You said this is inconsistent. This is inconsistent, nonstop. The team believes in the talent around them. Jake Matthews said that. Bijan thinks that. Quietly, I think every single Falcons player in that locker room believes we've got the talent to be great. We don't have the proper controls, which is the coaching. So I'll end out today's show by asking you this. Are Raheem and Z-Rob on the hot seat? Type H for hot, type N for not. A little hot or not for you on this episode. I'm going to say it's lukewarm right now. It's lukewarm. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button, like today's video, and as always, Falcons fans, rise up and be cool.